John, missed chances early and then injuries late?
Yeah, probably even, and then in between that, they dominated that early part of the third quarter, probably the first 15 minutes of the third quarter. So that's how I probably read it. The game was pretty even in the first half, but we did have, I think, opportunities to have a better lead, and we wasted those opportunities.
How bad is Mark McGrath's arm?
I think it's confirmed that he's got a fracture. So I'm not sure if we can put something out pretty quick, because I think he might be having surgery fairly quickly on it, maybe tomorrow, to put a plate in. But yeah, so he's fracturing there.
Any idea what that means as far as when you can play again?
I don't know. No, I haven't had a chance to talk to anyone yet.
And the others, Mackenzie was carrying a leg.
Yeah, low-grade hamstring.
And Darren Glass?
Just a corky. He's all right.
Lecker seemed in pretty good touch. How disappointing is it about losing?
Yeah, it's terrible for him, you know. But with depending on what it is, you know, it's not necessarily a long period out.
And the fact you went through it last year, does that leave you a better place to fill the void while is out?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Who's the obvious candidates?
To come in for Lecker, Nat Nui, maybe. Kerr.
Are they ready for Worsfold?
They could be, yeah, they could be.
John, Ross Lyon paid tribute to you with what you had out and the way you went about it, the injuries you got. Did you feel that it was going to be a bit of a stretch without Kerr, without McNary, and without Rose?
And Wellingham. So we got Wellingham to help boost our midfield, and you know we went in without Wellingham and Kerr and Nat Nui, who were a big part of it from last year. And that's where really I think they dominated the game. Their midfielders, well, two of them shared the medal. And Hill got a bit of it. So in the end, I think we were overwhelmed through there. Yeah, we had a very young backup ruckman in Coxie who didn't have a massive impact on the game, as he will when he gets another 20 or 30 games under his belt.
They've got a big body midfield. They're all big boys. Is that becoming a factor in these games, that they're able to really, you know, not bash you up, but
yeah, no, I don't.
Your boys take a fair beating.
Yeah, I don't think so. It was really centre clearances. I think we did really well at other stoppages around the ground. So you know those setups and structures were pretty good. Centre bounces, they got forward and inside 50 too easily out of there. Yeah, so I don't know if that's just the big bodies or if it was that periods when Cox wasn't in the ruck. I'm not really sure. I have to work all through all that, but that was a big part of it. I think they went inside 50 14 times from centre bounce clearances to our 2, I think.
Kennedy's...
Yeah, I thought he was outstanding, yeah.
How do you assess Scott Lycett's game tonight, John?
Yeah, he's very. You can see he's a young ruckman and learning the game. He's going to be I certainly believe he's going to be a very, very good ruckman in the game. But he's most ruckmen, unless they're a Nat Nui type, don't really impact till they're about 23 or 24. So he's a long way short of that. He's only 20. But great learning curve for him tonight to play in a game of that intensity.
Will you back him in for as long as Nick's out, or will you look at Sinclair?
Well, we have to look at Sinclair's form, but we're prepared to back Lycett in. But we've got the options of both McGovern and Sinclair showing a bit of good form.
Do you feel that Nat Nui and Kerr will be ready for round 2?
Yeah, it's hard to pick. Curry is really up and about. You know, he's really excited about putting his hand up for 2 weeks' time. And as would Nick be, but we may, with Nick's injury, we may have to be more cautious, because if he gets a flare-up and any soreness, we'll have to rest him for another month. So we'll just monitor him.
Cripps, there's a bit about Cripps, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, we got him to the club, and we were really pleased with what he's showed through the pre-season. And that first goal he kicked tonight was outstanding, taking that mark, going back, and I think he's going to be a good player for us for a long period.
Just looking at the injuries as a whole, there doesn't seem to be a trend with them. Is it pure bad luck? And how hard is it to cope with when so many of your top line players are out at once?
It's not hard to cope with because you cope with it, but you would like to have your best 22 on the field, or if not, your best 21 or 20. We probably went out there tonight with 4 or 5 guys out of that best 22 not out there, and then we lost a couple throughout the night. So great opportunity. Really pleased with the opportunity that some of the younger players got tonight, and they'll keep improving.
Is it a really defining point of the season to see how the guys cover for those other guys? Cope with it all?
Yeah, not really. I mean, we learn a lot tonight. It's like last year we had a whole year learning about, seeing how Hams went and what he added in the forward line, and learn a lot about Josh Hill. And when, even going back to 2010 when Darren Glass was out for the majority of the year, it gave Eric McKenzie a lot of responsibility and helped his football. So players get opportunities and learn and improve. But we want to get our best team out there as soon as we can, so we can see how good we are.
Just on McKenzie and Glass, you already touched on them. You've got Hawthorn in 2 weeks' time, Lance Franklin obviously. Are they going to be fit for that game?
I would expect they will be, yeah. Yeah, but if they're not, we've got Mitch Brown ready to go. So we've got good coverage there.
John, how do you see Jack Darling tonight? Last year he didn't have Kennedy there with him for most of the year, so it's a case of him having to have a look at his game and work behind Kennedy a bit more. Has he got a bit of work to do as far as that's concerned?
Not too much work. No, Jack had a couple of opportunities to kick goals tonight, didn't really grab them. He missed his 2 shots that he would normally kick, and there's going to be games, as we've seen, where it's rare where you're going to have 3 forwards all getting a lot of shots at goal. So if Kennedy's getting a lot of attention, I've got no doubt that in those games Darling will be the one who gets shots at goal. And against Port Adelaide a couple of weeks ago, Lacroix didn't have too many shots at goal. Darling and Kennedy did. So it's a nice issue to have, that they're always going to be testing the opposition.
John, Ryan Crowley probably had the better of Luke Shuey again tonight. How long do you think it takes a player of that age to learn to deal with a hard tag like that?
I don't know if there's an answer to that. But Luke Shuey's going to be, a really good talent for us, and he'll learn from that. Crowley's probably had the best record last year against the really good midfielders in the comp. So, really good learning curve for Luke.